You guys know how every single time the Puritans want to take something out, they always use human trafficking as the excuse. And they do it because they know it gets a reaction out of people. When someone says human trafficking, the image most people have in their minds is like women and girls being kidnapped and sold into sexual slavery. That's what most people imagine when human trafficking comes up. Now, on the less extreme end, it could just be like forcing them into prostitution while they're still living with their families and whatnot. That still counts as human trafficking, I believe. But it's all like the most horrible things, right? When most people hear human trafficking, that's what they imagine. Now, let's get to this article. Now, it is a little bit sickening, you could say, but look at it from the perspective of human trafficking. New Orleans man accused of using diaper fetish in human trafficking scheme pleads guilty. Using his ABDL fetish in a human trafficking scheme. Oh my God, how? How did he do this? Let's read what this madman did. A Nolans man accused of using a diaper fetish in a human trafficking scheme pleaded guilty Monday in criminal court. Now, to be fair, just because he pleaded guilty doesn't mean anything. Now, legally, it means everything, but outside of the context of the law, just because someone pleads guilty doesn't mean they're actually guilty, because prosecutors, they have a tactic that they just want to get the win. They don't care how they get the win. Prosecutors are either current or future politicians. They have political aspirations. All they care about is their record. They want to go down with a lot of wins, a lot of high-profile victories. They don't care how they get it. Most of these victories come from plea deals. So how do they get people to accept plea deals? Well, imagine you were arrested for some misdemeanor that carries like a maximum of like a month in prison, let's just say, something real minor. They will tack on every single crime they can think of that would apply to what you did to get you to plead guilty, because the original thing you got in trouble for, you would have only faced like a month in prison, but they bloat the charges to the point that if you took this to court and lost in court, all the other charges they stacked you with would have landed you in prison for like 20 years. So that's how they get you to take the plea deal. They're like, okay, you can plead guilty, and we will lower the month in prison to, like, say, a week of community service. Or you can fight this in court and risk 20 years in prison. Your choice. And most people, even if they didn't do the thing they were being accused of, they would take the plea deal. They would rather just do the week of community service and get this over with than risk going to jail for decades. And this is one of those cases because they charged this guy with human trafficking. And just wait till you hear what he actually did. His roughly 12-year prison sentence was suspended as part of the plea deal. See, he was facing 12 years in prison with all the charges they stacked on for this. And it's just a suspended sentence now. He doesn't have to do the time. He's on 5 years of probation because, like they continue, and ad hoc Judge Hunter Harris ordered him to 5 years of active probation. So from a potential of 12 years in prison to 5 years of probation and a suspended sentence. That's how they got him to accept the plea deal. Rutledge Diaz IV, age 30, is accused. See, this is the important part. Pay attention to what he actually did and tell me if this is human trafficking. Is accused of posing as a man with disabilities and using a website to hire unsuspecting women to change his diapers. That is his crime, that he is being called a human trafficker for. He pretended to be mentally disabled to trick people into changing his diapers for him. How the fuck does this qualify as human trafficking? Can anyone explain this to me? This is the kind of shit that this is the reason why I don't take human trafficking accusations seriously. Because this 99.9% of the time, when the term human trafficking is being thrown out, it's something stupid like this. They just tack the human trafficking label on it to again, get all the normies out there imagining like women and girls being sold into sexual slavery, to just stack the court basically against the guy. When the jury hears, oh my God, human trafficking. Now, I actually don't know what he could have been charged with for this, because yes, he did trick those women, but they changed his diapers. It's not like he tricked them into having sex or anything. I mean, unless that's later on in the article. But they changed his diapers. And he was facing 12 years in prison on human trafficking charges for this. So every single time you see human trafficking come up, read into this. Read what the actual charges are. Read what the person actually did. Because I guarantee you, like 99.9% of the time when human trafficking is used, it's for stupid, unrelated bullshit like this. They just use it for scare tactics, for fear mongering. He pleaded guilty to 4 counts of human trafficking. So legally, he was guilty of human trafficking, even though in reality, nah. Nope, there was no human trafficking involved here. But so again, let's go back to the plea deal. This guy is forever going to be known as a human trafficker now because he pleaded guilty. But because he pleaded guilty, he gets 5 years of probation. If he actually took this to court and he lost, not only would he have wasted much more time and money, but he would have potentially faced 12 years in prison. That's why people take plea deals, even if they're fucking bullshit. So in addition to the human trafficking, it was also 1 count of possession of methamphetamine. Okay, if he actually had meth, yeah, that's what they could have got him on. And 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia. Yeah, isn't that what got Tommy Chong thrown in prison as well? Like his freaking bongs? The scheme involved arranging babysitting sessions for his fictitious younger brother with mental disabilities, then pretending to be the little brother with autism. So again, that's all he did. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure you could find something to charge him with there, but human trafficking isn't it. He pretended to be mentally disabled so someone would change his diapers. It's not like he was human trafficking or anything. Yeah, false advertising. Maybe you could have got him for false advertising. One of the 4 victims prosecutors identified testified virtually on Monday, telling Diaz she has been unable to trust strangers enough to help others with mental disabilities outside her job. I mean, if you still trust strangers in current year, I don't know, man. The lengths he went to deceive her and others, she said, were vast. You were truly a wolf in sheep's clothing, she said. Okay, so what sort of massive damage was done to you? You changed his diapers assuming that he was mentally disabled, and then you found out he wasn't. I mean, again, it's not like he tricked you into sex or anything. Now, that may have been another issue, but okay. The Waymans grew audibly emotional when she said what tortures her most is that she introduced him to her children, hoping to teach them about autism and about accepting differences in other people. Well, this is a good lesson about accepting differences in people's fetishes, right? We gotta be progressive after all. She said the lesson they learned instead was that monsters do not look like the scary ones they see on TV. Now, how is this a bad thing, though? I gotta ask, how is this bad? This is a lesson that kids should learn, and the sooner the better. Kids need to learn that the world isn't all like sunshine and roses and rainbow shitting unicorns. They need to know to watch out for this shit. This is a learning experience for those kids. Mama should have been there like, now you see what this man did? How he tricked my ass? Don't be dumb like me. Don't fall for this shit. The sentence includes 10 years suspended for human trafficking charges. Yep. See, and that's again, maybe if an actual lawyer ever hears this, how is this in any way human trafficking? He pretended to be mentally disabled, so 4 women changed his diapers for him. If that counts as human trafficking, then that term has literally lost all meaning. Anyone who takes the term human trafficking seriously after hearing this story probably has mental issues, like legitimately. They're not just faking it. 18 months suspended for possession of meth. That one they could have probably hit him with, and 15 days in the parish jail suspended for possession of drug paraphernalia. Conditions of his 5 years of active probation include staying employed. Okay, so what if it's not his fault that he's not employed? That would be my question. So 400 hours of community service, counseling with a focus on internet addiction and sexual health, rehabilitation services, and Alcoholics Anonymous. All right, now we're getting there. So they were willing to suspend his entire sentence, basically. But these programs he has to go to, do you guys think these programs are free? Do you think these are taxpayer funded? No. He has to pay for these counseling sessions himself. He has to pay for the rehab himself. It's just a way to extract money out of people. Now, this, in my opinion, this shit is closer to human trafficking than what he did to those women. Like they are basically using him for free labor with the 400 hours of community service. They're milking money out of him for all those counseling and rehab services. And what he did was trick 4 strangers into changing his diapers a few times. Which of these is closer to actual human trafficking? Very interesting right there. Very interesting. At the time of his arrest last year, Diaz told investigators he was sexually traumatized at a young age and suffered from depression, anxiety, and other mental health problems, but he had not been diagnosed with autism and had no physical disability, an arrest affidavit says. Yeah, now this, by the way, is a typical fucking strategy of any criminal that gets busted doing anything. Oh, but I was traumatized as a kid. I had a rough childhood. I have all these issues. I'm depressed. They turn the waterworks on so that if it does get to court, that maybe they're hoping the jury will take some pity on him. Like, oh, it's not my fault. It's because all this horrible shit happened to me. It's a way of passing the buck. That's why they say shit like this. During Monday's hearing, he spoke clearly, addressed the judge, yes, sir, yes, your honor, and affirmed his wishes to plead guilty. Yeah, this court, the entire legal system in the West, by the way, is a complete fucking joke. It is a scam. It is, but okay. This is the second time Diaz has pleaded guilty to the charges. Ooh, in June, he admitted in court he does not have disabilities and pleaded guilty to the charges. The judge rescinded the plea after there was a hang-up over the punishment for Diaz. Diaz was released from prison back in April due to the government lockdowns. Oh, so he was still in prison. He didn't even make bail, huh? All right. So, once again, don't ever take it too seriously when you see a human trafficking charge without verifying it yourself. Again, the stuff the government sentenced this guy to is closer to human trafficking than what he did, and that's saying something. Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.